Hello, everyone. Thank you for attending. I really appreciate it. I'm Robert Weigle. I'm the CEO of NowDiagnostics. We're a little different than probably most presenters up here because we're a consumer play and a hospital play. That's our device right there. It is a single disposable used device. It uses blood or saliva and can detect many, many diseases. That's our forward-looking statement. So, we are a consumer, public health, and hospital market play with TAMs in the billions. Disposable platforms with margins already at 60%. Reimbursement's not an issue. We recently received the first ever marketing authorization for an over-the-counter syphilis screening test. How many in the room know we have an epidemic on our hands with syphilis right now? It's true. There's over 6 million Americans that are walking around with undiagnosed syphilis. 70% or so of cases have no symptoms at all. So it's a major problem. It's not just in the MSM community, but it transcends over into pregnant women, 14 to 54-year-olds, retirement communities. It's a devastating disease if it's not treated initially, and you can treat it with antibiotics. We have a near-term pipeline of over 5 over-the-counter tests, and we believe we are the next platform for the next pandemic, and we all know there will be a next pandemic. So we're a very elegant solution for that and cost-effective and easy for the consumer to use. This is our test. It really is touch, tap, and test. 10 minutes at home, you get the results right in your home. It removes all the stigma from testing, and then you just call your care provider if you're positive. We have a great leadership team, and so really who we are, we're improving healthcare by offering a one-step test. It's very affordable. It's less than $30, less than a copay. It's available in Walmart, Walgreens, Amazon, CVS as well. We're in now 14,000 retail locations and soon to be 19,000. And we're big in public health as well. And then LabCorp is our partner on the hospital and the clinic side and has invested in the company as well. Our capabilities, we are a consumer, as I said, OTC play, as well as the hospital and clinic markets. We're an assay developer with lots of experience. We have clinical regulatory experience, obviously, as evidenced by getting the first ever over-the-counter test for syphilis. There are only 4 tests in infectious disease ever approved by the FDA, and we're one of them. The markets we're dealing with are in the billions. STD markets, obviously, pregnancy, and I'll talk about that in a little bit, strep as well, and then there are other markets that we're going after. So TAM's in the billions. And so things are moving, as we all know. COVID changed the world. Right? And so things are moving from complex lab-based tests to hospital testing to consumer testing where you send off your sample to a lab and you wait 5 to 7 days. Where we really need to move the market is to where we are, which is essentially simple and lower cost, done in the clinic, in the community, and in the home with lab-accurate results. And we are like a lab test, but we are at home. We have great intellectual property, over 55 patents issued now, 33 pending, and a couple provisionals. We have high sensitivity with a minimal sample, 40 microliters of blood. It's just 1 drop of blood. And we're doing 1 test at a time. We're not doing multiple tests, but 1 test at a time. Self-contained precision microfluidics. And then so here are our platforms. There's a capillary blood test, which is used in the syphilis test and other tests that I'll describe in a minute. And then also our saliva test. It's simply a little spoon, and you salivate into the spoon, and you get your results the same as you would with a capillary blood test. So why we believe we're going to win is that we are an in-home test with in-home results in minutes. We're simple. There are no blood draws or throat swabs. The results are in 15 minutes or less. We're very high accuracy. We're self-contained. There's no fiddle factor. There's no swabbing. There's no chemicals, et cetera. We can scale this into the millions and millions. We already have the capability to build over 5 million tests annually, and we have a CMO that we're bringing on board that can quintuple that for us when needed. And then, as I mentioned, we're less than a copay, and our margins are already in the 60s. So, if you look at the market where it is today and you look at the different quadrants, the big players like Abbott and LabCorp and Quest and others are all up in the upper left. We are in the upper right. We are the only in-home test company with a single step. That's what really differentiates us. And as I mentioned, LabCorp is our strategic partner on the hospital, physician office, urgent care, et cetera. They're a great partner. They've invested with the company and continue to support the company in a big way. We're just launching also on their consumer platform shortly. And here's what we're really excited about. The bottom line is we already have available today the first syphilis over-the-counter test, huge market potential. We have an HCG pregnancy test. It's an early test. It's a capillary finger stick, much more accurate than a urine test. It's already in market in the EU over the counter in several large drugstores. And then we have an HCG pregnancy test here, same one, but it's mod complex. We're kicking off a trial, and I'm describing the trials right here. The first one, this starts next week. We're doing, with FDA guidance, we're doing an HCG over-the-counter finger stick for pregnancy. We're anticipating getting that finished by the end of the year and submitting the data to the FDA for an over-the-counter approval. We are just kicking off a 600-patient strep A study with saliva, with LabCorp. And so we anticipate getting that done by May, and then taking a look at the results, presenting them to the FDA for the next steps. We have a herpes 2 trial that we've already negotiated, a trial design with the FDA. That's a large market, and everybody knows about norovirus, right? And so with norovirus, we think that's a really big play for the company down the road. And then last but not least, we have an epidemic with Lyme disease out there. There's over 500,000 new diagnosed cases, and imagine all the ones that we're not diagnosing. Same kind of thing with syphilis. A lot of symptoms don't show up until later, and also it affects the fetus if you're pregnant. So our pipeline is respiratory diseases, vector-borne diseases. The rest you can see on the screen. We're very excited about kicking off these clinical trials. And these are near-term, meaning approvals in the 2026 and maybe early 2027 timeframe. And as I mentioned earlier in my presentation, there's 5 million plus asymptomatic patients around in the US that don't know that they're carrying syphilis. We have a huge problem with congenital syphilis. It's devastating to the baby. It's in the news all over the place. Right now, in terms of syphilis, 6 million samples for pregnant women are being done. Usually it's just once a trimester. Many states are now recommending every trimester for every pregnant woman, not those that just are at high risk, but everyone. And then 2 million all others, but we have to expand on that. And in talking with the CDC, we really need to be screening about 35 million people, believe it or not, every year for syphilis. And I think I mentioned that many states have already come out and said between the ages of 14 and 44, you should get screened once a year for syphilis. And we're the test to do that. So it's accessible, it's affordable, it's private, no stigma. You can be confident in the results, and you get the results in minutes. It really is the future. When we got this approval, we had over 7 billion in terms of reach. We were on Seth Meyers. A lot of people make fun of it, but the bottom line is it's a very serious disease, and we need to treat it. Over 65,000 tests already sold since November, mid-November. We've already eclipsed the $1 million mark. We're anticipating $10 million in revenue this year, and then above and beyond. And as I mentioned, we're in all of these retail chains, and very proud of that. Raising convertible note at $10 million. I can give terms. I'll have my contact information up here, and we will be raising a priced round in Q3. And I thank you for your attention.